Hey everyone, welcome back to Timeless. We have a wild one today. This is an awesome new deck that I got from Top Deck Karn on Discord. All credit goes to him. This deck list is like his baby. He's been working on it for the last 2 weeks, and it looks sweet. As you can tell, this is a show and tell omniscience list, but this is crazy, crazy different from other builds of Omni-Tell. So I'm going to go over the deck, how it's different, what it's generally trying to do, and then we're going to go ahead and jam some games where I walk through the lines. As you can see, it is just a simple Omni-Tell deck. Bay of Wishes, this is how you do the infinite win. Cast Granted from your hand with an Omniscience in play. Grab a Mastermind's Acquisition from your sideboard. That Mastermind's Acquisition grabs another Mastermind's Acquisition. That second one grabs Bond of Insight. Bond of Insight is going to buy back the two Masterminds. First Mastermind gets Approach out of the sideboard. The second one gets Approach out of the deck. You've casted Approach twice. You win the game. That's how you win infinitely. But how you get to that point is really fun and interesting. And yes, these 4 cards in the sideboard are 100% dedicated to the combo. You have an 11-card sideboard. How this deck gets there is kind of crazy. The number one thing is we're playing Shifting Woodland, and this deck actually hits Delirium really easily and really consistently to the point where as soon as I have 4 mana, I'm almost always able to activate this right there on turn 4, sometimes turn 3, depending on what cards I got a chance to play before that. In addition to Shifting Woodland, for mana ramp, we're playing Ugin's Labyrinth, and we're playing an Eldrazi package, because these Eldrazi help us contribute to our game plan. So it's very frequent that we have 3 mana on turn 2 for casting a show and tell on turn 2, or we have 4 mana on turn 3 for activating Shifting Woodland. We also have extra ways to ramp our mana, like Malevolent Rumble for turn 4 or later, for turn 3 or later ramping. You can also cast a One Ring on turn 3, which is something I often do if my opponent like discards my hand, or if I can't copy an Omniscience in time. So what does a normal game with this deck looks like? Generally, you're casting your cheap cards to go through your deck. A lot of these do dump things into your graveyard passively. Malevolent Rumble is an all-star in this deck. This lets you pick any permanent, and you just dump the rest into the graveyard. And ideally, you're going to cast something like Rumble or an Ugin's Labyrinth to get yourself ahead on mana, so that as early as turn 3, you can Shifting Woodland, copy an Omniscience that's in your graveyard that was put there off of the Rumble or the Seed of Hope. Or perhaps you're just show and telling the Omniscience from your hand into play. There's multiple routes to victory with this deck, which is something that I really love. There's also ways that instead of casting your combo pieces early, you can just cast a One Ring with your 4 mana, and then you shift on the following turn once you set it up, or once you get enough cards into your hand. Or you show and tell after you draw a bunch of cards off of your Null Drifter so that you can get your payoff into your hand. This deck is really robust for a show and tell deck because it can both win out of the graveyard and out of the hand. It's kind of crazy. And then all of these Eldrazi have a really important role in the deck. Devourer of Destiny helps you set up your first draw and helps you find your combo pieces really consistently. An edge case that was pointed out to me is you can Devourer of Destiny, put something on top, and then surveil it into the graveyard. There's so many like fun edge cases in this deck that my mind was awoken to by Top Deck Card on Discord. Like you can also discard your Omniscience to hand size, which is not something I would ever thought of, but it's something he's done before. You could also use Fae of Wishes as a discard outlet for your Omniscience. I know this card has the text discard 2 cards on it. I have never in my life actually like used it as a discard outlet, but it is a discard outlet in Simic colors, which is kind of crazy. At first picking up this deck, I struggled with it because there's a lot to think about in this deck. I was trying to play it in BO3, and I think I went like 2 and 5 in best of threes, and one of the wins was somebody just like tilt conceding, and I like wasn't necessarily gonna win it, so like really 1 and 5. And then I switched to best of 1 just to like practice the lines, and after a couple practice games I won 6 in a row. This is legit. This is also a very strong BO1 deck. It's hard to hate out in BO1 just because of how resilient it is. You're trying to do graveyard shit, you're trying to show and tell, and then you could also just cast your big stupid Eldrazi when you get 7 mana ahead of schedule off of Ugin's Labyrinth and the Rumble. And then lastly, I think the only piece I didn't talk about is Disciple of Freyalise. This is actually a really sweet include when you have an Omniscience out. You can sacrifice your Eldrazi to gain 6 life, draw 6 cards, and you go through your deck really quickly, really easily. Oh, and Palantir. Earlier today, Palantir's the background, by the way. Love this card. I got a kill with it. Earlier today, I was against a control player. They were at 10 life. I get to scry 2. I leave One Ring, Null Drifter on top, Opponent says, yeah, you can mill the most expensive thing in your deck costs 7. Hit them for 11. They died on the spot. Crazy. So because I've been playing Best of 1, I'm going to play Best of 1 again for the video, and then next time I record this, I'm going to do BO3 when I'm a little bit more experienced with the deck. Sideboard is the same sideboard I got, except that I just swapped some things for wildcard considerations. I'll post the original deck list with the correct sideboard cards, but these Pact of Negations were originally defense grids. I didn't have the card. I view Pact of Negation as a way to defend against control, so a 0-mana counterspell can substitute here. I did actually like Pact earlier when I was testing, and I had to pay for my trigger because my opponent had multiple counterspells, but this deck makes so much mana, I was actually able to pay 5 mana, which is funny. There's an Endurance in here. 2 of these Pick Your Poisons were Force of Vigors, which I agree with. I'd swap them out if I didn't, later when I spend the Mythic wildcards. The wildcards are hard to get when I'm trying to make new decks, right? Disruptor, Flute, Stone Brain. These are some pretty clear ones on when to sideboard them in. And then we also have an Ubin's Binding. It's a really cool way to clear boards. You can sideboard it in against any sort of creature deck, or just a way to get permanents off the board. Returns each non-land permanent, so it returns things like Graveyard Hate. If they have an Unlicensed Heroes or Rest in Peace in play, it will return, any sort of Leyline Binding that is exiling an important piece. It's really interesting. Ooh, I think that's it for me. Let's get to some games. Let's do some crazy stuff. I won on turn 2, by the way. I actually did have the nut draw of Imprint an Eldrazi into Ugin's Labyrinth, play a blue source, play Show and Tell, put the Omniscience to play, and my opponent was not having it. I could turn 2 concession. Even though I didn't win on the spot, literally, I'd put some Eldrazi into play on turn 2, and they're like, not having it. All right, we got the Omni and the Tell. The only unfortunate part here is that we actually don't have blue mana. This is pretty tough, but we have Seed of Hope and a Bauble to dig a couple of darts deep to find it. If we don't find blue exactly, when we find more green, we can always just play a Palantir. I think this is fine enough to keep in a best of 1 game when we're on the play. Don't love, just throwing away best of 1 hands that have your combo in it, right? All right, there's our blue mana. And then I don't think there's too much of a reason to hold this Bauble in our hand. Well, we could use it to inform our fetch, figure out whether or not we want to fetch on our turn. Not that I think it's going to matter in this particular best of 1 game. We'll have to see what our opponent is playing. I'm not used to playing best of 1, of course. I'm a best of 3 gamer, so I know things are a little bit different, and the thinking does need to be a little bit different. I'm used to knowing what my opponent's playing, because I saw them last game. And yep, we're gonna get griefed. Alright, well there goes my Show and Tell, but at least we can hopefully slam a Palantir if we don't get discarded. If we do get discarded, then we could try to find a Shifting Woodland, because we'll have very close to Delirium at that point. With the fetch land, it will be Delirium. I kind of hope they discard my Omni here. Yeah, they do. Okay, sweet. Oh, it is. Okay, that's dope. Let's see what's on top of my deck. And whether or not I should be fetching. Another Show and Tell? I actually don't need that. I'm going to go ahead and Surveil. Oh, wow. So we get to do the thing. We get to show that this deck is quite resilient to griefing. Oh, another one? Bruh. Draw a card. So if we draw a colorless Eldrazi, we can go ahead and... Oh, no, we can't Shift and Tell that early. Because we need to play both of our lands. That's fine. If we draw a colorless Eldrazi, we can play a One Ring next turn, which would be quite nice. Would love to draw an Eldrazi. Nope, we drew an Omniscience. I think we should just go ahead and play the Labyrinth out, just so that we don't expose Shifting Woodland to a land destruction spell. They can't discard it from our hand with any of the cards in their deck. And then next turn, we're gonna be able to copy up an Omniscience. Does it do anything with our current cards in hand? No, it doesn't. So I think we're gonna go ahead and cast the One Ring and start drawing some cards. This is actually a line that came up for me before. It's sometimes correct when you have the 4 mana to shift. You just cast a One Ring instead. You get protection for a turn. You draw a card off your One Ring. You draw 2 cards the next turn, and then you get to shift with 3 more cards in your hand. And if you draw that many cards, you're almost guaranteed to be able to, combo for real. All right, there's our king, Oko. Surely I must be famished. Oof, they're gonna grief me again. Okay, so they'll probably take the ring. Do take the ring. So with our ring gone, and the fact that we drew an Omniscience, I think we're supposed to shift copy Omni and then just play the other Omni. Oh, we win. Okay. Allow me to demonstrate. Omni. Autopay. Yes, I'm okay with it tapping itself. Reverse me, please. Dealer. Okay. Grab a Mastermind's Acquisition. Mastermind's Acquisition will grab a Mastermind's Acquisition. Mastermind's Acquisition will grab a Bond of Insight. Bond of Insight. We'll get the two Mastermind's Acquisitions back, and then we have a way to double cast Approach of the Second Sun. Sweet. So we run out of nowhere just because we had an Omniscience in our graveyard, and our opponent was not able to interact with us with discard spells. So that's what I'm talking about when I say this deck actually has legs. A normal show and tell deck would have absolutely got like thrashed there by the scam deck. It's traditionally like a super poor matchup, and like I'm excited to see a show and tell list that can be super resilient to that. All right, we are going to be on the play against Brett, and would you believe it? We have the Stone Cold Nuts. Boy, this is crazy. It's not rigged, I promise. Oh, we just had the game against Scam in real life, okay? Where we bullied the Scam player even though they griefed us because we got to shift out of our graveyard. Now this game, we get to turn two, because we can imprint the Devourer to the Labyrinth and then just Omni-Tell with a Fey Wishes in our hand. Like, what the hell? This is a perfect hand. It dies to a counterspell, though. Ooh, I'd love to keep Emrakul. That card's saucy. No, let's think about lose conditions before we get saucy. Our lose condition is like them somehow spell piercing us, so let's have a One Ring as a backup source of card advantage. Because we'll have 3 mana here off the Labyrinth, so we'll only be 1 mana off of One Ring. And we get to win on turn 2 on the video. Oh my god. Omni-Tell. That's wild. Well, dear opponent, I will not be drawing any more cards, but thank you for your interest. Wow. Okay, that was... I think it was the fastest game of Magic the Gathering Arena in my life. Oh, right, there's no timer in BO1. I was about to check my timer. You know what does have a timer? Untap.gg. I will update with the speed of that game right after this. That was amazing. All that they did was play a Surveil land and they lost. Oh, no, there it is. 1 minute time according to untap.gg. That is something special. Okay, we also have Omni-Tell in our opening hand again. This is one of the Omni-Tell hands that will die to a counterspell, and we don't have the mana acceleration, so our opponent absolutely could have mana drain, but I think it's still strong enough to keep off of the strength of double show and tell. You can always try again. We can always do a little Surveil land to set ourselves up as well. All right, we're hitting a patch of good variance right now, okay? Not every game is this easy. We also might just get griefed to shreds here, but we have a Shifting Woodland in case that happens. Yep, we're gonna get griefed. Alright, I guess this will be another demonstration in the fact that Shifting Woodland can just beat grief. And it looks like they're holding full control, so they probably have Not Dead for the double discard. Yep. Oh, they have Undying Malice, sure. Everything resolves. So they get 2 discards. They can take both Show and Tells, or they can try to take my payoff. If they take my payoff, I can just shift it. Hope they know that. Looks like they are going to take both Show and Tells. So my opponent has double discarded me, and they put a 5-turn clock into play. Can we beat them? I think we can. Does need a little bit of help off the top of the deck. Okay. Disciple of Fraley's not what we need right now, but it gets us closer to Delirium. Everybody calm down. We could shift next turn. But can we shift and tell? No. Let me think about my line. What's my line here? Am I supposed to just cast Null Drifter to draw 2 cards next turn? I think I might need to be doing that. I'm going to put the shift into play. So I could delay the decision on whether or not I imprint the Null Drifter under the Labyrinth. So close, yeah. We're gonna just go ahead and chill. We're chilling. We're chilling out here. We do need to put one more card type into the bin in order to shift, so if we can get an Omniscience in there, then, you know, we're off to the races. Bot sees me? Yeah, you can take my Null Drifter then. Maybe they'll be generous and take my Omni because they don't know how my deck works. Oh no, arena players. Oh, dude, I'm trying to make a video. This doesn't even make me look good. Oh my god. Do they have a way to fuck with this? I would hope they do, but I don't think they do. I'm gonna imprint this. By the way, not 100% chance I win at all this turn. I only have 1 Rumble to cast, but I'm gonna do this. Yes. As long as I hit something, anything off of Rumble, we can cast that as well. They could also have Surgical here. Maybe that's why they did it. Of course, Surgical Extraction is the best card against this deck if you couldn't predict that. Okay. Ooh, one with the Multiverse so that we can play off the top of our deck, or do we want a 1-ring just so that we could draw cards? I like the idea of a 1-ring because we can continue to draw cards next turn. And if the top card of our deck happens to be a brick, it's better. Because we'll draw 2 next turn. We also get a mana here, which is pretty cool. So a ring on the stack. We also get protection from everything, which buys us more time. Ring is a bullshit card. Yeah. Also love how this is just a 1-ring version of Show and Tell that doesn't use mana drain to cast the 1-ring. Because I've seen that before. Oh, an Omni. Okay, sweet. So now we're set. Every card that we draw off the 1-ring is a free cast. We're going to draw 3 cards next turn between our natural draw step and the 1-ring. I think we're good to go. Like, obviously it's not a guaranteed win at all. And our opponent had to punt to get us here. But, hey. Can't complain about the position we're in right now. Alright, we will be going to my turn, right? To your opponent. They are going to Fury my 0-1 because why not? Understandable. Have a nice day. What'd you pitch? Fatal. Okay. You have Furied my 0-1 with an Omniscience in play. You got it. Alright, can I have my turn, please? I would like to use my Omniscience, dear opponent. It's coming back. Okay, yeah, that's fine. That's a good play then, because now they have a pretty fast clock on me. So they can hit me for 10 next turn. So it's a 2-turn clock. Ooh, we drew a Null Drifter. That's sweet. Let's go ahead and activate. We have another Null Drifter under the Labyrinth as well. Ah, we just went. Reverse. Reverse grabs Fae of Wishes. Fae of Wishes does its thing. Right, and that is an Exploding Head. Hey, you're moving up in the world. Okay. Is this a keepable hand? We're on the draw against No Clip. We have a Devourer of Destiny to fix our draw, but it seems mid otherwise, right? This seems like a pretty mid hand. We have a Shift, which is a card I like, but we don't have a way to fill our bin. We could theoretically Devourer into an Omni. But then again, if we don't, we're just casting a One Ring on turn 4 on the draw. That doesn't seem great. Let's go ahead and mulligan. Here, I think I'm going to keep this instead of mulling to 3. Or, excuse me, mulling to 5. We're not going to 3 anytime soon. I think I'm happy to just... Oh, it seems so slow, because really I'm going to just draw 2 and then One Ring. Against a Lurrus deck, I think this is fine, because they're not going to clock me particularly fast. They can discard me, but that would just get rid of redundant copies of the ring. And I don't think they can kill me in the first 4 turns, so hopefully the ring buying me some turns is pretty good. And it might be energy, which is kind of a laughably easy matchup, which makes me sad as an energy player myself. It's fun to be on the other side of the table for once. However, we have a very poor hand. I don't know if I was supposed to mulligan to 5 there. I don't have enough experience with the deck to know how many good, like, 5-card I win on the spot hands there are, whether or not I should have been trying to find them. I think it's no from my limited experience, is that I don't go to 5 as long as I have a hand that's going to line up okay against a Lurrus deck. I kept this because they had Lurrus. If they didn't have this companion, I probably would have went to 5. I know Lurrus decks are slow. I know Lurrus decks aren't going to kill me faster than I can play a One Ring. They're not necessarily slow. The energy deck can be blazingly fast if it wants to. There is also a chance that they still kill me under the ring, which is great. Yeah, they could have just Amp Drafter creatures everywhere. However, this is traditionally like a really good matchup. You've probably heard me say it as the energy player, complaining a little bit before. Unfair matchups are very tough for the deck. Yep, okay. They get the Nurturing Pixie value. We get to Surveil. Disciple can go in the bit. We're just working towards Delirium, boys. Nothing much to see here. I'm going to play a Breeding Pool tapped, and then next turn we're going to Null Drift, draw 2 cards, and then we're going to hide behind the One Ring for 2 turns in a row, and then hopefully those 2 turns in a row are enough to assemble Omni-Tell. And if they're not, oh well. Alright, I am scared because they are hitting me pretty hard. If they put 10 power on the board, I might just die here. Hey, it's my card. I wanted to cast that and gain 2 life. What the heck? Oh, wow, yeah. This is a good Boros draw for them. So this is enough power on the board to kill me. So something funny needs to happen this turn. I don't know what it is. Static Prison? They do not get their energy. Okay, Malevolent Rumble. Maybe we can chump block him. Let's go ahead. Let's get ready to rumble. I'm going to play a Shift first. I don't think there's a blue card I can hit that's relevant. Oh, we can play Fae of Wishes as a blocker. Sure, man. Right? I got nothing else to do. Fae of Wishes chump blocking might be the difference between life and death here, and if it is, that means we can go ahead and cast a One Ring, buy some time. Once we start playing One Rings, I think we're in a good position. Alright, discharged, yep. And then our opponent will have exactly 10 to hit us with. They can actually pump for 12. So, unfortunately, we just lost our good matchup. I assumed my opponent wasn't going to be able to kill me before I could play a One Ring. It was pretty close. Like, I only dealt 2 extra damage. So, there are some hands that they have that are too slow and they don't necessarily kill me before I get to play a ring. If I had, say, 3 more HP this game, then I could have played a ring, just 2 turns worth of damage, and then theoretically, after drawing a couple of cards, I would then shift, copying an Omniscience, but maybe it was a bad keep for me. Maybe I'm supposed to mulligan to 5 there. Right, we are up against Gix. 78 Gix, we are going second. Will this be a good luck game, a bad luck game, or a paid actor? This seems pretty good. I mean, we got the Omni-Tell in our hand. We have a Devourer of Destiny to also fix our draw and hopefully either get an extra copy of the Show and Tell or perhaps get us a Soul Land so that we can do it a turn early. Let's see if Devourer of Destiny can find a Nugan's Labyrinth. That would be amazingly strong. Pre-game action. Alright, our opponent might grief us. Yay! But like, this is the most resilient to grief combo deck I've ever seen. We got the Shifting Woodland in our hand too. I just love how this is a combo deck that just wins against discard. It's kind of crazy. I actively want them to discard me just for my Delirium. The one card you lose to, though, is Surgical Extraction. If people are packing that, you're done. If people don't pack that in BO1 and even in BO3, it's like not super common. Yep. Grief Pit Shieldred. Might or might not see a reanimation effect on this. They will look at my cards first before they decide, of course. Will not dead after all the grief, and they get 2 discards here. Wonder what they take. They take like Show and Tell and the Enablers, and they just leave me with the 7 and the 10 drops, probably. I would assume they've taken the Rumble too. Yep. No rumbling. Oh my, no, we would have had it. We would have had the turn 2. Look, it's on top of our freaking deck. Oh, we would have had it, boys. We would have had turn 2. Oh, okay. So the question is, do we want any of these cards? I kind of feel like saying no to all. Ugin's Labyrinth isn't necessarily something I need for the ramp. Is it better than an average draw? I think it's still fine, actually. We just take it. Well, what's my line, right? What's my out here? My out is to, cast something to get Delirium. Taking an Ugin's Labyrinth actually isn't helping us get towards Delirium for the shift, or anything else that I would consider a winning line. So I'm going to go ahead and just play this Breeding Pool here. And pass. Use up my rope while I think about whether or not that's correct. And then we can have the classic Fae of Wishes as a discard outlet here. I think I'm going to go ahead and play out my Fae. This could also eat a removal spell, but if it does, we're almost... Well, we're not almost on Delirium. We still need to get an Omni into our bin somehow. Are they going to shoot my Fae? Doesn't do anything, opponent. Maybe they're just going to read it and wonder why I played it. It's okay, I'm just a bad combo deck player. I don't know why I played it. I just played the card I could play because I got griefed, of course. I'm an arena player. Don't think about my intentions. Alright, Seiju, cool. So let's traverse here. And then we can do this at end step. We can do it on end step, sweet. Traverse, grab an island. So we don't have a land in bin, so if we happen to draw a fetch land, then that would enable Delirium. We could discard this Boseiju for Delirium, but I'm not quite there yet. I'm not ready. Need a little bit more time to cook before I'm ready. Opponent can hit us for 4. Alright, discard these 2. That is 3/4 Delirium. They're gonna push it? Sure. I don't need it in my hand, really. I have another copy of Fae in the deck for later. So now what I can do to get Delirium is... Oh no, I'm just going to play the Ring. I was about to say I could be really cute and like Boseiju my opponent's Wicked Rule to get Delirium, but then I'm a mana short. I'm just going to play the One Ring here. I love hiding behind the One Ring's protection. And all we need to do is find something like a fetch land. If we find a fetch land, then we have Delirium, we can shift into Omni, and then probably win the game. We can draw enough cards off of the Ring and the Null Drifter to get there. Ooh, Lily.
Something suspicious is going on.
Alright, I would like to draw a card.
It's not my fault.
Yeah, I can discard this 1.
You won't be outsmarting me.
Okay, that wasn't a fetch land. Let's draw 2 cards and see if we can find one. Let's just draw some cards off of Null Drifter then, and then we can hopefully find something that enables Delirium for next turn. Draw 2 cards. Just another shift. Alright. I will play a tapped land. And then we get 4 more draws between the Wandering and our natural draw step. We're going to go to 1 HP, which is very tough. But we still do have a shot to win this game. Ooh, okay. You don't draw 2 cards, opponent. I hope you know that. I will discard this extra... Well, we could draw a Tell for this, right? So let's discard the extra shift. Yeah, Show and Tell is also just a winning draw. Oh, you know what? Fetch Giant's not winning anymore because I'm losing 2 life here. Ah, there's Misty. Oh, but I have Delirium? Why? Oh, because I discarded Shift to Lily. Oh, could I have done that last turn? Guys, did I punt? We'll find out. Find out next time on Dragon Ball Z. Alright, let's start casting some Eldrazi. It's my favorite part.
Sorry, I'm not interested in
Whee!
dying today.
Do we get to slowly flip through the deck? Actually, I'm filibustering here. I have a Traverse. I just wanted to gain 2 life, so I didn't, like, accidentally die. Fae of Wishes. Fae of Wishes to the sideboard. Grabs Masterminds. Masterminds. Alternate cost. Alternate cost. Masterminds. Masterminds. Alternate cost. Outside the game. Bond of Insight. Bond of Insight. Bring them back. Would like my 2 Masterminds, please? Masterminds. Grab... Approach. Approach. Masterminds. No, 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 I clicked the wrong thing! Oh, I punted. I was going too fast. That's fine. I can rumble to get towards it. Yeah, we found an Null Drifter. We're fine. That was funny, though. I was going too fast. Because, you know, I'm recording the video. I don't want to keep people waiting. Trying to make some content out here. I will approach you again. Great, that was dope. Alright, we'll do one more. I feel like the video should have ended like a year ago, because usually I can only squeeze in so many best of 3s in an hour, but best of 1s go so fast. Alright, we are on the draw against FIQ. What do we got here? I think this hand is very mediocre, and it doesn't try to do too much. I think against an unknown opponent, we throw this back. This is Mana Acceleration. I love it. We can throw back the random bottle. And then between like Cetaphil and Devourer, we hopefully fix our mana. We can also just like throw back the Boseiju. Yeah, let's just throw back the Bauble. The Bauble is essentially just a redraw in this deck. It doesn't do anything. So I feel comfortable throwing that back when we're on 6. It does enable Delirium, of course, but we have this Cetahope to hopefully get us towards Delirium. Let's go ahead and look at some cards. I look at the cards. Malevolent Rumble is the one that calls to me. Rumble is like such an all-star in this deck. Like, I really cannot overstate at how good it is at setting up Shifting Woodland. Because it can grab the Woodland itself. It can grab Omniscience if you're not trying to do Woodland. It can grab all of your payoffs, including like the One Ring. Do I want that stupid card in my hand? No, right? Stays there. I think this game we're most likely going to rumble into a Shifting Woodlands, and we're going to win off the shift. Because we have guaranteed Delirium. Pretty much we already have 3 out of the 4 types. Rumble just needs to hit a random land or something like that. We have Delirium. We just need to find the shift. We're more likely to find the shift than we are to find a Show and Tell, because Rumble can hit that. Rumble can't hit Show and Tell, which is the one awkward thing. Our opponent, knowing we don't have creatures, bolts us, which is fun. They might be on like Izzet control, which would be pretty tough, but Shifting Woodlands is a card that beats Izzet, Jeskai, whatever control. Oh, we drew the Show and Tell. He always gets punished. What a bad YouTuber. I think my reasoning was correct. This is probably gonna get snared. Wow, okay. Yeah, I knew it was going to get countered. I wasn't expecting main deck's Bell Snare. So if we wanted to Fae of Wishes for the sideboard, what do we have that we can grab? Oh, I have my BO1 sideboard, so it's really nothing except the combo, unfortunately. There's a Flage. Yep, our opponent is trying to kill us. Dang, so if we put the Omni into our hand, we could win one here while they're tapped out. Oh, and another Fae? That's kind of tough. That is rough and tough. Our sideboard options for BO1, unfortunately, are just Pact of Negation, Endurance, Bond of Insight. I mean, Bond of Insight is a card I could maybe get. Yeah, why not? Bond of Insight is a card that technically has text on it for this matchup. I'm going to go ahead and grab it. I could use it to buy back the Rumble. It's something my opponent would want to counter, at least. I think in this position is probably the best thing I can do. I'm just taking a look. Taking a look at that graveyard. I'm getting a Rumble and a Seed of Hope back as it stands right now. Ooh, another Rumble. Let's go ahead and cast this, though, for mana efficiency. If this gets countered, it gets countered. It means we can cleanly resolve our Rumble next turn. Okay, okay, okay. So we can grab another Rumble and a Seed of Hope back. So next turn we can double Rumble, try to find our shift, and then once we find our shift, we win. We are getting Lightning Helix. Our opponent is playing Jeskai Control Burn. Wonder if they don't have a counter spell, or if they were just happy to let me spend all 4 mana to do like a really bad tutor. Because as they say, don't counter the tutor target. We'll have to see whether or not they decide to bring back a Flage this turn. That'll tell me. Oh, looks like Flage is coming back, yeah. I need to be not dead to Flage. That's an important part. I need to not die here. Another important point is since we have this show and tell in hand, we can just like Rumble for Omni and win that way, of course. We can grab the Omni off the Rumble. Yep, there's our Flage. This Flage does kill me when it attacks if it's not blocked. I was also thinking about maybe we could put a Fae of Wishes blocker out there. Oh, or you could just be a lucky son of a bitch and draw the Shifting Woodland. I copy Omniscience. I wasn't paying attention there. Technically, I should have tapped the Woodland. Technically, schmechnically, okay? I'm going to cast Granted. Does this get countered? Oh, you know what I don't have? I no longer have Bond of Insight. It exiled itself. Yeah, okay. We're going to grab Approach anyway. And we're just going to try to draw 7 cards. I'm going to do this with the Rumble. Because it's 7 cards deep. We can get rid of 6 by looking at 4 with Rumble and 2 with Seed of Hope. And if we find a card that draws cards like the One Ring, we win. Okay, we did it. Just to confirm, yeah, we have exactly 2 cards on top. So we can cast Seed of Hope here. Seed of Hope will mill 2 cards. I will take another shift for fun. And then we can One Ring to draw our Approach to the Second Sun. Awesome. We beat Jeskai Control. Jeskai Control without counterspells. Technically won, but... Oh, they had to test the talents they got rid of? Oof. Tough luck, huh? And our opponent is not happy with us, and they will choose to rope us out. I will take that as a compliment. Oh, never mind. They did scoop. They weren't rude. All right. I think we will call that it for like the first showing of the deck. That's awesome. Screw it. We got time for one more game. I'm looking at the runtime. It's low. It's low. I've played so many games that I keep saying in my head, oh, we should end the video. No, one more. This deck is very, very fun, if you couldn't tell. Okay. We are going first against Donut's Paradise. We have the ability to one ring ahead of schedule. With the Null Drifter imprint onto the Ugin's Labyrinth, we have a Shifting Woodland in our hand. We do not have a way to Omni-Tell. We do not have a way to get Omniscience into our graveyard. I think this is good enough in the blind. I think a turn 3 One Ring is probably okay. Maybe someone who piloted this deck a bit more than me would know better. Ah, Leyline. Oh, so they're probably playing Belcher or something a little obnoxious. Well, let's go ahead and filter our first draw with that knowledge. They might belch me before I get to Omni-Tell them, unfortunately. That's not a Belcher land. What are you playing? Maybe they just got griefed a few too many times and their feelings got hurt. Yeah, we can go for Delirium. Seed of Hope, very nice. Let's go ahead and cast it. And yeah, let's take our bauble. It's a free card draw. I will have to bubble myself instead of my opponent for information. I don't know what they're playing. I'd love to know. And, ooh, Delirium, they say. So unfortunately, there's nothing in my graveyard to copy, and I don't have a way to discard in the next turn cycle. So I'm not going to choose to play Shifting Woodland or Labyrinth. I would have 4 mana and the ability to activate the Shifting Woodland next turn. However, since I don't have anything to copy, I'm going to keep both these cards safe in my hand and away from land destruction. Opponent being a Leyline of Sanctity gamer, I'm not going to trust them to not have a random Field of Ruin or something to blow up my Shifting Woodland. You should always play around something like that if you have the opportunity, and there's no opportunity cost. I haven't seen a Field of Ruin in a very long time, but it cannot hurt to play around land destruction. And we're going to next turn just imprint Null Drifter, One Ring, and then hopefully get off to the races. Opponent's going to look at our hands, say what, and then probably take the One Ring. If they take Omni here, I'm going to like facepalm and then say, oh, dang, I could have copied it. But you shouldn't count on your opponent being a paid actor and not knowing how your deck works. The correct take here for them is probably the Ring. I guess this is one downside to not playing the Labyrinth out, because now they can Thoughtseize my 7-drop. I didn't really consider that. Don't take the Omni, paid actor. I see paid actor. All right, that's fine. It's fine. It's fine, guys. Some people just like getting paid. I'm gonna cast the One Ring because I don't have the ability to shift on schedule here. We can shift next turn. Oh, some paid actors running around on ladder. I mean, to be fair, some people have not seen this before. This is kind of nonsense. I'm going to draw my first card before a Bowmasters or whatever can be played. And then next turn we get to shift our Omniscience and then hopefully win. It's not a guaranteed win, but we get to draw a shit ton of cards, 2 cards off of here, and then we get to sacrifice the Null Drifter to draw 4 more. So that's a draw 6, draw 2 more off the ring, draw 1 for turn. Surely that's enough cards to make the win happen. Alright, let's see what you got, opponent. They are probably a show and tell list of their own, now that I think about it, and seeing this mana exactly. Let's shift, boys. Let's tap this for green. And then let's shift. I have shifted. And then we also have the wind just chilling in our hand. So we don't actually need to draw a bajillion cards here. Reverse the Ulvenwald. This gets Fae of Wishes, and I think our opponent knows how this one works, right? Fellow Omni gamer. Masterminds. Let's not punt this time. Masterminds outside the game. I mean, we can draw all of the cards with Frey Release plus Null Drifter, so maybe we could do it that way. Outside the game. Bond of Insight. Heck, sweet. Wait, this deck's awesome. Oh, what the heck. I think, yeah, we won almost every game this video. We had some paid actors, of course. Not everybody in the BO1 queue knows to keep the Omniscience out of the graveyard, but sometimes it's like a pick your poison situation, not to make a pun with the card, where either the opponent, they let you keep the Omniscience in hand and you could just draw Show and Tell, or they try to get rid of it and hope to keep you off of shifting. It's hard. It is hard for a lot of decks to fight back against this deck. And once you start sideboarding yourself and bringing in your own counter sideboard pieces, like I think this deck has some legs. I think this is a legitimate contender to like the status quo builds of Omniscience, of Omni-Tell. I'm not an Omni-Tell expert though. This is the main deck that we were playing today in BO1. It's the sideboard though. I did technically change some stuff. Oh, I have an inbox. That's probably because the season ended. What? Yeah, I placed into the top 250. We did it. There we go. Ah, network error. Ah, the feds are holding me back. All right. Sorry for the ooh a butterfly moment, but this deck is legit. This deck is freaking awesome. I encourage everybody to try it out. I think it's worth the wild cards. It was a lot of wild cards for me because like there are some goofy cards like Devourer, Knoll Drifter that haven't had a home in other decks. Even just like the Ugin's Labyrinth and the Emrakul and the Traverses aren't cards that everybody has. And if you're not an Omni-Tell player, you of course don't have the Omni and the Tell and the one with the multiverse and the Palantir. That's another 10 mythics. So many rares and mythics in this deck. And there's not that much overlap with other decks, unfortunately. But hey, if you're a guy who has the rares and mythics lying around, please craft this, work on it. Let me know your thoughts. Like this deck is sick.